So Howard, he ain't going anywhere. As Lisa G told us on the show this morning, he'll take less money. $100 million's a lot. He'll take less. He'll stick around. But how lucky are we that with Brian Kilmeade on vacation, if you listened yesterday, you heard the brilliant stylings of one Anthony Cumia, who does a tremendous job on this station, 8 to 11 p.m. every Sunday night. And you're going to get Anthony back today, but you're getting Anthony with me. So no Opie and Anthony. Instead, it's Sydney and Anthony. Here he is, the great Anthony Cumia from some Guyasha town in South Carolina. Good morning, Anthony.
Thank you, Sid. Yes, it's a Sydney and Anthony. I'm back to being a co-host. Well, much better than Opie, Sid, I must say, but not as good as maybe Sydney Sweeney. That would be a good Sydney. I wouldn't mind that, Sydney.
I got to tell you, I wouldn't mind it either. And I don't know what the big deal is about her. We will talk about that at some point during this hour because I think she's great. But let's get to Howard because
yes.
My first job ever in New York was at WNEW-FM. My former partner, Scott Kaplan, who is now in San Diego/Los Angeles, and I came up from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We made a deal, got a job doing mornings at the station, 2000. And at the time, you and Anthony were the biggest thing in New York, even
Opie.
bigger than Stern. No, you and Opie, right? Even bigger than Stern, right? Big time. Ron and Fez and Leslie Gold and Donna Mike. And you guys really ruled the roost, and it really bothered Howard Stern. How much did it bother Howard?
Oh, it bothered him to the point where he tried to shut us down. We were all working for the same company, Infinity Broadcasting, and he was constantly calling the big boss, Mel Karmazin, to tell us to stop talking about him, shut up about this, don't do that promotion. He was terrible. He was one of the most, we're talking about him like he's dead, one of the most insecure people. I think everyone knows that. He's a very insecure guy. So he couldn't just look at himself, look at the top of the mountain that he was on without wanting to kick anyone that was climbing up that mountain down. So he was very insecure, and he tried to stop us from becoming successful in New York City. And it didn't work, obviously. We did a great job coming to New York. NEW was just a madhouse. It was so much fun, so crazy. And, he continued that big slide into what he is now. And he's not a commodity anymore. He's not viable. He's not relevant. And he's just been this guy hanging on and getting paid a lot of money from Sirius, obviously. But it looks like that's over. But I agree with you, Sid. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Nah.
This guy would have left years ago. And,
right.
And I think, like you said, they're going to offer him some money, much, much lower than $100 million a year. So they're going to offer him some money, and he'll take it. He'll snivel. He'll talk about how he won. He'll be on the air saying, I'm not going anywhere. See, I'm still here.
Right.
And, he'll fade further into obscurity.
There was stories that at one point, because you did work for the same company and Howard had great success in the mornings and you and Opie ruled the afternoons, that maybe you guys would team up, right? And it would be Howard in the morning and Opie and Anthony in the afternoons. And what I read was that you guys were up to listening to that, but Howard wanted no part of that. What's the truth?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. I mean, obviously that made perfect sense. So in the radio world, why would you ever let that happen? Because it's such a great idea. So, yeah, we wanted to do that. We were up for it. Howard in the morning, us in the afternoon. Great team. Ron and Fez in the middays, whatever. And he was dead set against it. No way.
Wow.
Not working with them. Because he always said things like, I'm not helping them out. Like him in the mornings, us in the afternoon, would be helping us out. Meanwhile, we were definitely doing our own thing. But
there had to be a time, Anthony. I know you guys came from Boston and then you took over New York. And look at you, by the way. Congratulations. 25 years later, you're still a big deal. But there had to be a time when you were coming up with Opie, and you guys did a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of stuff similar to Howard. Well, you love Stern. No, you didn't love Stern?
Oh, yeah, please. Any guy, especially you're a New Yorker, you grew up in New York, you're in your 20s or 30s, Yeah, you listened to Howard. You loved the show. And look, it was a lot different back then. The whole idea of shock jock was something that was amazing. It was funny, edgy. Nowadays, how is someone on the radio going to shock you when, scroll through, take your thumb, scroll once on your phone. You've seen 20 things more shocking than anyone could ever say on the radio. That's what the world we live in today. So, Sid, you got to kind of grow with it. You don't want to change and do a 180.
Right.
But you got to grow, expand, and be cognizant of where you are in the business and in life. You can't be a shock jock in your 60s or 70 as Stern is.
Yeah.
And, him turning off a large portion of his listeners when he said, if you support Trump or you're MAGA, I don't want you listening to my show. Well, it seems all those people took him at his word.
He said worse than that.
Screw.
He said worse than that. He didn't say don't listen. He said he actually called us, and I'm part of that group as well as you, and he called us stupid. And he also said, you ready for this? He doesn't care if we die. He actually said that. A lot worse than stop listening to my show. So when was it? Here come a young Opie and Anthony on the ascent. They come from Boston to New York. This guy, Anthony's great. He does a great dice. He does all these people. And when was it exactly when this love for Stern, which probably was partly influenced your success early in your career, what was the day, what was the time, what happened when it all turned ugly?
Yeah, I think it was when we had to have these meetings with Mel Karmazin and some of the bosses, and they told us directly that Howard doesn't want us talking about him.
Come
and
on.
It just completely, spun my head around. For years, you're listening to this guy. He destroyed DJs in cities that he was syndicated into. We all remember DeBella in Philly. It was
Didn't he kill himself? We thought about killing himself.
Yes. It was a massacre. And, you almost felt bad for the guy. You were a huge Stern fan. You felt bad for DeBella, but you're like, look, that's this business. That's what it is. So when me and Opie got to New York, we knew he was going to, start ragging us, but we weren't going to turn around and not react to it. And we reacted to it. It was very well received. It was done in a funny way. And he could not take it. So instead of battling like he did with these jocks that were, easy to just roll over, he saw some kind of competition in us. And instead of going with that and showing your strengths and doing what you do, he went to the boss, the big boss, and said, I want them shut up. They can't talk about me. And that's when I really lost all respect for the guy.
You lost all respect, but when Mel Karmazin tells you to do something, and Mel was paying you guys a lot of money,
Oh, yeah.
And Mel, I don't care if it was I'm Miss Stern, Opie and Anthony, when he paid you the money, he expected you to listen. But something tells me, Ann, that when he told you to calm down about Stern, that you guys may have gone the complete opposite direction.
That was always the motive with the O&A show. Go complete opposite of what the bosses tell us, but in a way where we could turn around and go, I thought you meant this. Sorry. See, we didn't. Because when he told us to not talk about Howard anymore, we took the clip from the Kid Rock song where he goes, radio edit. And anytime we wanted to talk about Howard, we talked about him. We didn't say his name, but we just hit the sound clip that said radio edit. Well, we get called into Mel's office again. He's 10 times as mad as he was the first meeting and says, we know what you're doing. You can't say, we were told not to ever say radio edit anymore.
Wow.
That's how bad it got with this guy.
They figured it out. And then you went really the most disrespectful route of all, which was gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. I love it. When my friend Anthony Cumia right here would refer to Howard Stern as Howie.
Oh, yeah.
He hated that. Oh,
he hated that. Hollywood Howie. Hamptons Howie, we would call him that, where he would get on weekends. We would talk about it. We'd do a little thing on how he would go hop in the Howie copter from New York. and it would go hoo, 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 all the way out to the Hamptons, where he would land and be with his Hollywood A-list celebrities, and then come back to do his show and talk about how he's just like the regular guy and has all the same faults and foibles and fears.
Sure.
And it was all a lie. It was all just a lie.
You know what's funny is with all that back and forth, it worked for you, right? You became, you were the best, and the audience loved you the most, and you made a lot of money. And I don't know this, got about a minute to go, but I'm going to ask you this. I feel like you never really hated the guy. It was just, that was the game. He was the morning guy. You were the afternoon guys. Like you hate Opie, but you never really hated Howard.
I don't even really hate Opie.
Oh, get out of here.
I
Stop
don't
it.
like him as a person.
Yeah.
I think he made my life very difficult during some years that could have just been a dream come true. There was always this element of, my friend Adam Ferrara, the comic, he has a great phrase. He said when he'd come in the house and his wife was mad, she wouldn't say anything, but he knew. He goes, because there was just this pissed mist in the house. He walked into it. And that's what the studio was like when I walked in. It was like a piss mist that Opie had, just in the room. He's mad. And you knew it. And it just made everybody like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But Howard, I never hated the guy. I like I said, I lost respect for him. I never really saw him. They brought him in. It was like the Batcave, his studio. You never saw the guy.
Yeah, but I heard that there were Christmas parties where you guys would be in the same room, even Imus, at the same time. Is that true?
I think there was one of those parties, and then he probably told Mel to not invite us anymore to those parties. We went to one party, as a matter of fact, and there was a separate VIP room to the company party, the Viacom CBS party, and Howard was in that room, and we couldn't go in.
You weren't allowed.
We weren't allowed to go in to the. We were, next to Howard, we were the show,
Right.
and we were not allowed in the VIP room of the
Fantastic.
CBS party because Howard told Mel not to let us in.
God, that's so fantastic.
Yeah.
So in the final 30 seconds now of this first segment, if it is over, and it's not, it's not over. You're right. He's going to take less money. But if it's over, and you have the chance right now to deliver the career eulogy. Thank God he's not dying. He's a nice man. But the career eulogy to Howard Stern, coming from Anthony Cumia, what would it be?
Oh, he started out amazing. A shock jock, perhaps, but it was relevant at the time. He got an audience that no one else was getting. He seemed to be a guy that never apologized, didn't make excuses, just a juggernaut in the radio industry who just stayed in it too long. He's unfortunately, I was very sad to hear about the horse, the carriage horse dying yesterday.
Yeah.
That's what Howard is. He's just a guy, an old horse pulling the radio wagon until he dies in the street.
That is really a very emotional, beautiful goodbye,
you.
Anthony.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll be back right after this. There's a guy there named Shane Siderman, and he's a financial guy, But he owns, him and his company, they own a whole bunch of Airbnbs. What do you call that thing again?
Airbnb.
Right, and in Charleston. So yesterday at the gym, that was our conversation because late in my show yesterday, my friend Nancy Mace, the great South Carolina Congresswoman, came on to tell us that she's officially running for governor. What are your thoughts in your home state of Nancy Mace running for governor?
Well, I like her. I think she'll do a great job, better than, what we've had in the past. But we got to get rid of Lindsey Graham.
You don't like him?
I don't like Lindsey.
Really?
Yeah.
What don't you like about him?
I don't. He seems wishy-washy.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
He likes war, and he's a big war guy, and you like that. You like that because you've got more guns in your house than David Koresh ever had.
That's to take care of my own little plot of land here. I've staked out my claim down here, my homestead, and I want to make sure no nefarious people try to come and take it. I got a dog recently. I got a Belgian Malinois now.
What?
He's a maniac.
Now,
I love it.
Aren't those dogs like 200 pounds?
No, they're not very. They're about the size of a German Shepherd, but they're like the Army uses them. Special forces.
What are you preparing for exactly? I'm just curious.
Hey, Sid, you do morning radio. You're the big guy on campus in the mornings. You don't listen to the news. You don't see what's going on in the world around us.
What's going on? I know the Mets lost last night. The big dogs and artillery and guns and what am I missing? What am I missing here? Fill me in.
Big Balls got beat up in Washington D.C. from Doge. Remember Big Balls?
I know Big Balls got beat up. 19 guys about to get beat up in Brooklyn this afternoon. Okay, so what?
Trump is ready to federalize Washington D.C. because of it.
Yeah,
things are. There's some shenanigans, I'll say, going on in this country.
Anthony.
And I want the best tools available to me to protect me and my loved ones.
I got it. My guess is, I've never been to your house in South Carolina. My guess is you probably have to travel about 20 miles just to get a carton of milk. Who's coming to kill you there?
Boy, you got quite the concept. No, I live pretty close to Greenville. No, I love it down here, and it's really nice. I don't want to make it sound like I'm absolutely insane with that. I just like guns. I like shooting. Shooting is fun.
Sure.
Target shooting.
Yep.
I'm not a hunter. I don't hunt things if it was necessary, but
yeah. Well, it is necessary. There's a place right now called Gaza. They can use your help.
So I should hunt and then ship the food over to Gaza?
No, you should go to Gaza. What hunt? Take your guns and go to Gaza. You want to be a badass, but on a serious note, you still spend a lot of time here in New York City, and this will always be your home, and you're beloved here and revered. You can't even walk down the street without getting molested. We love you here. And Nancy Mace is going to run for governor, and she'll probably win because South Carolina, where you live now, is a red state. But you got to admit that Kathy Hochul is one of the worst governors ever.
It just once again made my faith in the people of New York go right down the old crapper, as they call it. I don't have any faith. That's why I think Mamdani's going to win, and I don't want him to. I love Curtis. I want him to win because you voted for Hochul. You had a chance to get her out. You could have had Lee Zeldin as your governor, and you voted this disaster for New York State in. And, I go to New York. I talk to a lot of people. Sid, you do too. Do you know anyone that likes this woman or that likes Mamdani except for the mental patients you see on the news or on social media? And they just continue to win. And it's beyond me. I have.
Well, what do you think that is? Because you make a very good point. I don't know anybody personally. Because, hey, I'm Jewish, although a lot of Jews are voting for Mamdani, which I can't figure out. But
amazing.
I know. I don't know anybody personally, Ant, that likes Hochul or Mamdani. But like you said, she won. He's probably, not definitely, here comes Curtis, but she's probably going to win. Why is that? Is that smart people, sane people like us just don't vote? What's the problem?
I think that's a big part of the problem. The mainstream media also is such a propaganda wing for the left that they beat down the Republicans and conservatives to the point where they probably don't go out and vote because they don't think it'll have any effect whatsoever. I think between Cuomo, Adams, and Mamdani, you're dividing up liberals. Republicans aren't voting for those three candidates. If every Republican in New York City went out and voted for Curtis, I honestly think he'd win.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But they got to get off their ass and get to the voting booths and vote for this guy.
I'm curious. When you were the big star here, Opie and Anthony, and, you guys did some news, some politics, obviously, but you did a lot of entertainment stuff and a lot of dirty stuff, to be honest.
Sure.
Were you that politically inclined back then? Were you voting? Were you into it? Or, I'll give you an example. I used to work with a guy named Joe Beningo at WFAN. And
I remember Joe.
You know Joe, right. And he's on this show quite a bit. He was on yesterday. He never cared about politics, and he couldn't tell you. He knew some stuff, but he didn't care. It was if the Mets lost or the Knicks lost or the Jets especially lost, his week was ruined. It was ruined. Trump comes along, and I get Joe on now to talk about the Mets and the Jets, he won't shut up about President Trump. He now watches Fox News instead of SNY. He even watches Newsmax instead of Yes. He's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Is that what happened to you?
Well, it was a November evening in the year 2008 when I decided I needed to get a little more politically active.
Really?
Yeah. It was when Barack Obama was elected president.
Oh, boy.
And I just knew.
Yeah.
I just knew this was going to be a problem. And but before that, I was, of course, I loved Ronald Reagan, Sid. Well, Anthony was a great supporter of me and my wife Nancy with her giant basketball head. So back then, I enjoyed.
Sure. Are you telling me that Ronald Reagan used to actually refer to his wife's head in public as a big basketball head?
Well, if you've looked at it, Sid, you will see it looks like the head of a Mardi Gras float. It's, quite large, yeah.
Yes. So it's brilliant, hilarious and brilliant. So one day somebody texts me. They go, I like this guy, Anthony. He's great. He's funny. But I'm not sure I like the fact that he makes fun of Nancy Reagan. I go, are you really sending me this? Are you nuts? This is a brilliant impression. It's hilarious. And he's right. I don't like it when he makes fun. This is how people they get crazy. You know that?
Yeah, I know.
So if I ask you, Ronald Reagan or President Trump, who's Anthony Cumia's favorite?
Oh, it's Trump.
It's Trump.
It's Trump. Did you see him on the roof of the White House
yesterday
shouting?
How great was that?
It's so funny. And he does this on purpose because all the Democrat social media, liberal social media people were like, oh, this guy wandered onto the roof and he's losing his mind. He's got Alzheimer's. And meanwhile, for 4 years, they sat there and watched that puppet with Alzheimer's, Joe Biden, and never said a word.
No.
And now, the guy's in construction. He knows. He goes up on the roof. He wants to check what's going on. And shouting at the press from the roof was hilarious. It's pure Trump. I think he's really funny. He's a president unlike we've ever seen, and I don't think we'll ever see again. So enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, you say that, and I've got this friend. Her name is Siggy Flicker, and she's a very, very popular pro-Israel, pro-America. She was on the Real Housewives of New Jersey years ago, and she moved to Florida now, but she's very, very close with Trump. She's a civilian. Doesn't work for Trump, not in politics, but he loves her. He calls her Ziggy. Her name is Ziggy. So a few months ago, he was speaking at West Point, and he invited Siggy because Siggy happens to be best friends with Alina Habba. He actually flew her on Air Force One with Alina. Yeah, right? To West Point to watch the president deliver his address to the cadets at Army. Unbelievable, right? So he actually calls her to the front of the of Marine Force One. Siggy, come here. So she walks up there, and he goes, so let me ask you something, Sig. When I'm done in a couple of years, who would you like to see president? And you ready for this? She started to cry. She said, the thought of you not doing this anymore really makes me sad. I'm a Republican. I love the party. We've got some great people, but I don't even want to think about the day where I can't vote for President Trump. And he was like, that's very sweet. I love you. Thank you. You know. But she meant it. Now, she ended up saying Marco Rubio, which I think surprised him. I think he thought she was going to say J.D. Vance. She said Rubio. Yeah. But her reaction, I think I'd have the same reaction in.
Yeah, it's we will look back at this with great fondness, the Trump years. I truly believe that. And look, not everyone bats 1,000. There are people, because, I give Trump his accolades that he deserves, and people get on me. Oh, you know, what about this or that? Yeah, there are some things I don't like that he's doing, but pick a president that was 100% with anybody. It does not work. But overall, I love what he's doing, and just his attitude, his, don't screw with me. I'm not apologizing for anything. I'm not going to play the usual games. You got to love it. And we will miss this. But I think it will be a Vance Rubio ticket. I mean, it's far off, but I think that's what we're going to see.
It's a pretty damn good ticket. So,
yeah,
we're going to take a quick
Even though Rubio stood you up today, huh?
Well, he supposedly he got called into the office by Mel Karmazin.
I understand that.
By President Trump. So when we get back, get ready for this now. No one's going to change the dial, trust me. Do you realize, Anthony, we discussed Howard Stern in the first segment.
Sure.
That on your show, Opie and Anthony, the immense hit that was Opie and Anthony,
of course,
you guys employed one of the most disliked current politicians in New York right now. Now, don't say anything. Don't say anything. But you guys employed one of the most disliked, fat, and stupid politicians. So one of your guys.
First, I got to mention this. It's a little ironic that it's Wednesday.
Why?
And the Sydney and Anthony show, it's Whip 'em Out Wednesday. But how times have changed. Now we have to remind people to whip out their Jardiance or Lipitor. It used to be nice. Now it's just kind of tragic.
That's a great line. That is a great line and so true. Whip 'em out Wednesday. Now, whose idea was that?
That was the Opster's idea.
Okay, that was good. All right.
Yeah.
We'll give him credit for that.
It worked well.
You know, I still see cars every now and then with wow stickers. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So one of the guys, he was an intern for you, and I think his responsibility was to find a way to shove young, half-naked girls into 55-gallon drums.
That would fit the bill.
So it turns out that he goes on and he becomes this big macha. I don't know if you know this. With the city council, he's in charge of all the money, to the point where he just ran. He lost because he sucks, but he just ran for comptroller. Do you know that your old buddy, the intern for the Opie and Anthony show, Justin Brannon, is a big deal politically in New York?
I did not know that.
Yeah. He's a douche, and you hate everything about him. But he has won here in New York.
You know, you would think any ties to the Opie and Anthony show would preclude you from having any political aspirations whatsoever, Sid. This makes no sense at all. Did they look into this guy's background?
They did. They did.
Wow.
And he's still, because he's a Democrat. See, if he's a Republican and he's on the Opie and Anthony show, then he's a really horrible person.
Yeah. That's true. You can kind of wash some of that O&A stink off of you.
Right.
If you're a Democrat or a liberal.
But not a Republican. And how about how excited President Trump got when he found out, because I didn't forget who you mentioned 50 minutes ago, when he found out that the lovely Sydney Sweeney was, in fact, a registered Republican.
He was very happy. Yes, he brought up the ad, the American Eagle Outfitters ad, and said he liked it. He liked that ad because, she likes guns. She's apparently working on cars and some of the viral things I've seen. She's throwing the first pitch. It looks like she's got great form, amongst other things.
Sure.
There's one problem, though.
What's that?
Her name. I could not imagine getting passionate and going, "Oh, Sid. Oh, Sid."
Hold on a second. I'm Sid. She's Sydney.
Well, you got Sydney's no better. Sydney's an old accountant's name or something. You're sitting there calling her Sydney.
So how would that go again? Because it reminded me a little bit of Meg Ryan with Billy Crystal. How would that go if you were with Sweeney? Let me hear that again.
It'd be like, "Oh, Sid. Sid." I don't know. Maybe it would be worth it because of, who you're looking at the time.
Sure.
Wouldn't be Sid Rosenberg.
No, I think you would. I think you would suck it up and do it, right? I think, right?
Yeah.
Who was the most famous? Let's go with this because you weren't married at the time. Mm-hmm. Who was the most famous, prettiest actress, celebrity, entertainer that showed up on 7th Avenue, walked into the studios, and you said, "Oh my God, I really have made it"?
Oh yeah. What's her name? Oh, yeah, Roller Girl in Boogie Nights. What the hell?
Oh, she was there?
Yeah.
Lil, what's
yeah.
her name again?
Heather Graham.
Yes.
Heather Graham. Yeah.
Oh, wait now this is urban legend, but the legend is that you banged Heather Graham.
I never, especially with...
No.
And how did you hear that one?
Don't give me your Bill Clinton statement here, okay?
No, I'm just saying, especially with people of note.
Yeah.
You never want.
Well, I just heard that.
Getting out like
I think Rick Delgado.
That's wow. Because I've never had anyone even ask me that.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes this show number one.
All right.
So, do you expect to get a ton of calls?
It's either that or Jill Nicolini, the traffic girl from WPIX.
Well, you were with Jill Nicolini.
Oh yeah, the summer we had a whole summer together. It went from the beginnings of a passionate, loving relationship to unbelievable hate and vindictiveness and cheating by the end of 3 months.
Wow,
it was a complete. It was like a 20-year marriage in the course of 3 months.
I actually met her. I met her for the first time. The Suffolk County PBA, Lou Savello, gave me a Lifetime Achievement Award. It was really nice. Ray Tierney, Lou Savello, Mike Vandenberg.
I love Ray.
Yeah. And she showed up, and I'm like, aren't you the one that was with Anthony? And she's like, yeah. She had nothing bad to say about you, just so you know.
No. She's a nice enough gal.
Yeah.
You know.
She's cute. So you're going to get a whole bunch of calls and texts today, you think, on this Howard Stern stuff?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's already going off on it and speculating. But like we said, he's not going anywhere. He doesn't have it in him. I don't know what he thinks he'd do if he wasn't doing a radio show, even if it is 2-3 days a week, whatever he does now. He'd be lost.
Wouldn't all of us?
Yeah, that is true.
Right?
Why the hell do you think I do? I wasn't looking for a job.
No. You know what? It's funny. When I first started doing radio and I had my drug and alcohol problems, and my partner, Scott Kaplan, said to me, I'll never forget this, 1999, he goes, Sid, if you think it's hard putting down liquor or cocaine, wait till you have to put down the microphone.
Ooh. Yeah.
And I've been fired and I've been suspended, and I got to tell you, he was right.
It's terrible.
Terrible.
I don't know what it is. It is.
Got to walk around your house talking to yourself, right?
I can't be alone with my own thoughts for 10 seconds.